Once upon a time, there was a man who had 4 young sons. He wanted to teach them a valuable lesson about the dangers of hasty judgments. He came up with a plan to send each of them on a journey, one after the other, to a distant orange tree but in different seasons. After completing their journey, he asked about their experience. The first son, who went to see the tree in winter, he returned and said, "I saw the tree and it looked bumpy, twisted and barren. It stood stark and ugly against the land. There was nothing beautiful about it." The second son, who went to see the tree in spring, he said, "I disagree with you, brother. When I saw the tree, it seemed full of hope and promise. There were green buds along its branches, which meant that soon it would be covered in leaves and look beautiful." The third son, who went to see the tree in summer, he also disagreed. He said, "I saw the tree too, and it was covered in beautiful blossoms that looked and smelled divine. There were bees buzzing around it, and it was full of life and energy." The fourth son and the final son, who went to see the tree in the fall, he said, "I also disagree with you all. When I saw the tree, it was laden and sweet, and delicious oranges that tasted better than I had eaten before. It was a bountiful and fruitful tree, and I felt grateful for the abundance it provided." All 4 sons don't agree with each other and tell that the other is telling lie. When each son had spoken, the father gathered them together and explained that they were all correct because they had only seen one season of the orange tree's life. He emphasized that it was foolish and impossible to judge something in this manner. The essence of something, whether it was a tree or a fellow human being, could only be fully appreciated by observing it in its fullness over time. To make a judgment based solely on one season, such as winter, was to miss the opportunity of spring, the beauty of summer, and the fruit in fall. This story seems simple and has common sense, but do we really follow this? Here are some situations where we may also behave similarly in our daily lives, when we won't see the picture holistically or from all aspects. Let's have a look. Scenario 1. Meeting new people. When we meet someone for the first time, we may make quick judgments based on their appearances or a brief interactions. For example, if we see someone who is dressed in a certain way, we might assume that they are not as intelligent or capable as someone who is dressed more professionally. Or if we have a brief conversation with someone and they seem shy or nervous, we might assume that they are not confident or outgoing. Another scenario, trying new things. When we try a new activity or experience, we may have a preconceived notion of what it will be like. For example, if we have never tried skydiving before, we might imagine that it's terrifying and dangerous. Or if we are going to a new restaurant, we might assume that the food will be mediocre based on reviews we have read online. Third scenario, facing challenges. When we face challenges, it's easy to become discouraged or disheartened by the initial difficulties. Sometimes we have unrealistic expectations of what the challenges will entail or how long it will take to overcome. For example, if we have never run a marathon before, we might assume that we will be able to train for and compete one in just a few months. But when we realize that it's a much more difficult and time-consuming process, we might become discouraged and give up. Fourth scenario, assessing our own progress. When we set goals for ourselves, it's common to feel excited and motivated about the changes we want to make in our own lives. However, as we start to work towards those goals, we may become discouraged if we don't see immediate progress. For example, getting in shape. Let's say we set a goal to get in shape by going to the gym and working out regularly. At first, we might feel energized and enthusiastic about the prospect of improving our health and fitness. However, after a few weeks of going to the gym, we might start to feel discouraged if we don't see any changes in our body or our fitness level. We might start to think if it's worth the effort and feel like we are not making any progress towards our goal. Fifth scenario, act blindly about current events. In Australia is an example of how people's perceptions can influence their behavior during a crisis. When news of the pandemic first spread, people became fearful and uncertain about what was going to happen. As a result, they started buying large amount of toilet paper. Yes, you heard right, toilet paper, which led to a shortage. This shortage caused even more panic and fear, causing people to continue hoarding toilet papers. The perception that there was a shortage of toilet paper caused people to behave in a way that they may not have otherwise. Some people bought more toilet papers than they needed, while others panicked when they saw that stores were running out of supplies. The perception of scarcity created a feedback loop that led to even greater scarcity and panic. So, how we are going to improve this holistic approach? Let's see together. They are the top 3 tips I'm going to share. Tip number 1, don't make hasty judgments. To truly understand the essence of something or someone, it is important to observe it over time and in different contexts. This is because our initial observation of something or someone may only reveal a limited amount of information about it. By observing something over time, we can see how it changes and evolves, and we can gain a deeper understanding of its true nature. Similarly, observing something in different contexts can help us understand how it behaves under different circumstances. However, it is more important to note that observing something or someone over time and in the different contexts, it requires patience and an open mind. We must be willing to put in the time and effort to observe something and to be open to what we discover. On top of that, we must be willing to revise our initial assumptions and hypotheses as we gain more information about that topic. By doing so, we can develop a more accurate and comprehensive understanding of the essence of something or someone. Tip number 2, appreciate the fullness of life. Every stage of our lives has its own unique values and should be embraced. Just as the seasons of the year brings about different weather patterns and changes in the nature, the seasons of our lives also bring about changes in our experiences, emotions, and perspectives. To appreciate and enjoy each season in our lives in its own time, we must learn to be present and mindful of the present moment, rather than constantly jumping into the past or looking to the future. We can focus on here and now and appreciate the unique qualities of each season. It's also important to recognize that each season of our lives presents its own challenges and opportunities for growth. By embracing each season of our lives and being open to its lessons and opportunities, we can grow and develop as individuals and find joy and fulfillment in our journey. Tip number 3, perspective matters. It's important to recognize that people can have different perspectives on same thing and that each perspective is valid. It tells us that people's experiences and backgrounds shape their perspective and opinions. Therefore, we should acknowledge that there can be multiple valid interpretations of the same situations or issues. When we encounter someone with a different perspective from our own, it can be easy to dismiss their view as incorrect or inferior. However, this can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. Instead, it is important to approach others with empathy and openness and to consider their point of view. By doing so, we can learn from each other and develop a more nuanced understanding of the world around us. When we acknowledge that people can have different perspectives, we become more accepting of diversity and more willing to listen to and learn from those who are different from us. This can lead to a greater understanding and harmony in our personal relationships, workplaces, and communities. Acknowledging the validity of different perspectives does not mean that all opinions are equally valid or that we should tolerate harmful or discriminatory views. Rather, it means that we should be respectful of others' experiences and beliefs, and that we should approach disagreement as well with an open mind and a willingness to listen and learn. By doing so, we can foster a more inclusive and understanding society. I hope these story, lessons and tips will inspire you to look the world from a different lens. What is your stereotype behavior or preconceived notions? Please share in the comment box. Admitting weaknesses or mistakes is the first step towards improvements. Friends, my name is Rajneesh and I wish you all the best in the journey of discovering the Guru within and becoming the local Guru of your own life. Be active and keep smiling. I will come back again with another powerful and meaningful story. Till then, Namaste.